Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of Weekly Oscar Talk. Um, Not as much news to discuss this week. I'm joined as always with my co-host here, Ben. Um, it's the release of Dune this week. Sadly, only one of us has seen it. Ben's gonna need to fix that to help the box office for Dune, which is already doing pretty good. Uh, But yes, starting off today with the news, not like I said, not as much news. The Gotham Awards released their nominees relatively early. I'm not sure why it's so early this year, um, but those are for like the smaller, more indie films, so they get some attention here. So not going to go through everything, but some of the standouts for their picture, they did The Green Knight, The Lost Daughter, Passing, Pig, and Test Pattern. For best performance, they do not do a gender here, they just do overall. Um, Olivia Colman in The Lost Daughter, Frankie Faison in The Killing of Kenneth Chamberlain, Michael Greyeyes in Wild Indian, Brittany S. Hall in Test Pattern, Oscar Isaac in Card Counter, Taylor Page in Zola, Joaquin Phoenix in Come On, Come On, Simon Rex in Red Rocket, Lily Taylor in Paper Spiders, and Tessa Thompson in Passing. So that's a lot of nominees.
Hmm.
But I think that totals up to what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if they're combining the two genders, that makes sense.
Hmm.
Any thoughts on any of those? I think really the only people with shots here I would say are Olivia Colman and Joaquin. That's what I
Hmm.
would think. Any thoughts on those nominees?
Depends on if passing happens or not, which I think it maybe could, but it's up in the air, I'd say, as to whether or not that will get nominations. Yeah, Olivia Colman, I'd say, is the only one that has a genuine shot at getting
Mhm.
nominated. But even then, I don't know.
Yeah. I think Passing probably has its best shot for Ruth Negga, who was nominated in supporting performance, along with Marlee Matlin in Coda, Troy Kotzer in Coda, Gabby Hoffman in Come On, Come On, Coleman Domingo in Zola, Jesse Buckley in Lost Daughter, and Reed Birney in Mass, which is surprising because Reed Birney is the performance that no one seems to really be highlighting. Everyone seems to be talking about Martha Plimpton, Ann Dowd, and Jason Isaacs. And Reed Birney was the one who was nominated, and they're all campaigned in supporting. So that's interesting. I'm not sure how much that affects the Oscar race here. I would say Jason Isaacs and Ann Dowd are still the best shots at getting in.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, also Troy Kotzer and Marlee Matlin in Coda. Have you seen Coda, Ben?
I didn't know it was out.
It's on Apple TV Plus. I believe it came out in August.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's a good movie, very heartwarming. Both of them are very good in it. They give great performances. I don't know if they'll be remembered come the Oscars, but they both do a really good job. So I'm glad to see them honored here. Um, yeah, nothing else. I really have anything to talk about here. Nothing else really stands out. So, any last thoughts on the Gotham Awards for this year?
I suppose in a way they're the first ones that we get, but they never really have any crossover. So they're kind of irrelevant,
Yeah,
but it's still good that they're there, you know?
yeah. They honor some of the stuff that gets less attention, which
Hmm.
is a good thing to do. Yeah, so that's it for the Gotham Awards. Also in news this week, I guess you could consider Oscar news. We got the news that Ryan Gosling has been attached to play Ken opposite Margot Robbie in Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach's Barbie movie. Um, Definitely a awards caliber director, writer, and performers. I just have no clue what their approach is going to be with this movie. Is it going to be more of a mainstream, like for kids Barbie movie, or are they going to like try and subvert the Barbie expectations and like do some sort of commentary, which is what I would imagine would be in there with those two writers. So, what do you think? What's going on with this Barbie movie?
I have no idea. I never thought it was actually going to happen. I thought they were just going to let it go, let it die, and just let everyone move on to different things, but they're not. They're moving forward with it. And I suppose if they've had it in front of them for so long, they've had a really long time to think, do we really, really want to make this movie? Like, do we actually want to do it? Like, we have Noah Baumbach writing the script. Do we have Noah Baumbach writing the script? Yeah.
I believe he and Greta Gerwig are both writing it, and I think Greta
Right.
Gerwig would be directing it. Is my assumption.
Well, I mean, that's like good for them, but they have all of this amazing talent in front of them. And they're like, are we sure that we don't want them to do anything else? And they said, nope, we want them to do Barbie. And
Mhm.
clearly they want to make this movie. Um, it could be that like all of the executives are smoking crack. You never know. Warner Brothers is not known to make the best executive decisions with
Is
their
this Warner
films.
Brothers?
I'm pretty sure it's Warner Brothers, yeah.
Oh, possibly. Yeah, I don't know who owns Barbie, so.
I think it
Um,
was. I think it used to be Sony, like back in 2016 when they were talking about it. And I think it's the Margot Robbie Warner Brothers Barbie movie. That's what I thought it
okay.
was, but I'm not. I think it's Warner Brothers. No, I don't
Mhm.
know, but they're looking to shoot next year, so I
Yeah.
think they clearly think they have something. Is it going to be a commentary on like the sort of crescendo of what Barbie has, sort of the expectations that it has set for people? Will it be
Hmm.
like breaking down the barriers, or will it just be really painful? Nobody will want to watch it. There'll be like tons of YouTube videos from like men in their 50s with hair like
Yeah.
mine and headphones on and like teeny tiny tad bit overweight drinking a monster screaming about how terrible it is.
Hmm.
Will it be that kind of a movie, or will it be something that people will want to talk about? I don't know.
I
If they made something like Cruella, I'd be happy. That's a great movie.
Cruella is a good movie. I think if Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach, I think right now they could really do whatever movie they wanted to. I mean, not like I don't think they want to do super high budget movies, but I think they could really do any drama they wanted to if they pitched it to a studio. So I think they really do see something here.
Mm.
So I do think it'll be good. I'm just wondering, is it going to be like mainstream good, or is it going to be like I don't know, like more Oscar fairy good? Like this
Will
movie has had quite the history. It's had like Anne Hathaway was attached, then Amy Schumer, I believe, was attached, and now it's Margot Robbie and Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach and now Ryan Gosling. So
mm. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, we'll have to see. I think the Amy Schumer one, I think was they said was clearly going to be subverting the expectations of Barbies. I'm not sure what they were going to do with Anne Hathaway.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I think Margot Robbie would want to be attached to something a little more than just a mainstream like Barbie playing like
Mm.
because Barbie as a character is kind of like a little gutsy.
Mm.
Um, so I think she would want to have more um,
Yeah.
dimension to that. Well, yeah,
Will
we'll have to
Barbie
see how
go
that goes.
insane like Harley Quinn and just want to freaking murder Ken? That would be really
I
fun.
I don't think so. I think that might affect some parents and children's perspectives on Barbie. I think see that's where it's tricky. Like you can't mess up Barbie too much because then it's going to be like hurting like toy sales or something, which I don't think whoever owns Barbie wants to happen. So I think there's a limit to it. I don't think she's going to be like I don't know, like what could you do? I like have like an eating disorder or something. Like I don't think they're going to do that with Barbie, even though I feel like that could be interesting. I don't know
Mm.
if they can go that far.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. I think this is a big question mark of a movie. I think they have a real opportunity here with the talent involved. Um, Margot Robbie, when she's given like a great script, can truly act the hell out of anything.
Hmm.
Um, but at the same time, if something great is not written for her, I don't think. I think if this is a weak movie, that would be pretty disappointing because I think this could be a pretty big thing
Yeah,
if it
yeah,
goes down the right track. If and I don't know what track they're going to go down. Like this could be
yeah,
anything.
yeah. It is certainly one of the most. mysterious movies in development right now. I have no clue what they're going to do with it.
Hmm.
But we'll have to see how that goes. Ryan Gosling is a good Ken. Margot Robbie's a good Barbie. So that's that. And our last little news item here. Recently, just about 30 minutes ago, the full reviews for Eternals dropped.
Oh, they did.
They did. Lots of people have been saying, even Kevin Feige himself, this is like Marvel's closest thing to an awards play. Even though Black Panther was a pretty good awards play. They obviously have the recent Oscar-winning director Chloe Zhao directing.
Hmm.
An amazing cast. It looked good from the trailers visually, but the reviews are a little surprising here. I don't know how many of them you have read. I'm just reading
I've
like
read
a few of
none.
the Twitter
Although,
reactions. The general thing from a lot of people, it's very, very mixed. Um, Lots of people are saying it's a very dense movie, that it's overstuffed and there's a little too much going on, and that there's too much to the point where it doesn't feel like explored enough. Everyone says it's visually very, I think like stunning is the word that most people used,
hmm,
but everyone also used dense. Um, let's see what else. Yeah, unlike anything in the MCU, which is nice to hear. It takes a very different like I think subverts the MCU formula in some ways, which will be nice to see. But I don't know how much it's necessarily going to work. The cast standouts from most people seems to be Kumail Nanjiani, Richard Madden, and Barry Keoghan, and I forget the woman who plays the deaf hero was also a
hmm.
standout, I believe.
She's the
Uh,
standout in the trailers.
yeah, yeah, she's got the super speed, looks really cool on her.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, people say it presents interesting ideas, but like they don't explore it enough.
Hmm.
In that it's some people go as far as like saying it's a straight up mess. Um, so very mixed, very mixed. People seem to be all around on this, which is interesting. Usually with these initial reviews, especially for Marvel movies, it's like almost all around praise.
Hmm.
Like for Shang-Chi, I don't remember like anyone being like, it's a mixed bag. Everyone seemed to be like, wow, this movie's great. The action is incredible and all that.
I had major problems with Shang-Chi as well. I thought like some of it was ridiculous. Like the
I
villain thinking
I
that
liked it
like that
until
was
the end.
it was so stupid in my opinion. And some of the CGI was terrible. And so was some of the dialogue.
Yeah,
You could tell
yeah.
like this is exposition, like Michelle Yeoh. Is that her name? Michelle Yeoh?
The actress or the
Yeah, who was in Shang-Chi. She was in Shang-Chi,
yeah,
but Shang-Chi,
yeah,
wasn't she?
yeah.
Yeah, I thought she had a
She's
lot of
the
like
aunt.
ADR dialogue, which was really distracting for me. But like
Yeah.
at the same time, it was universally praised. So like the last time a Marvel movie had like mixed reception, I honestly don't remember. And like
This
there
is
was a lot of
very mixed
times
for a Marvel movie.
they've warranted a mixed bag for a lot of their films. Like Captain Marvel was universally praised that I can remember.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably the most recent closest to mixed that it's gotten.
Mm,
Because everything else after that was pretty much praised. Endgame, deservedly so. Far From Home, which was a little messy. Black Widow. Black Widow was a little mixed, but most people seem to like it. And then
yeah,
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi was like way over the moon.
Yeah, people,
And then
people. I really liked it, but I didn't like it as much as other people. I think it was good for a Marvel movie, but it wasn't
yes, I
like
agree with that.
incredible.
And the cinematographer, someone Marvel needs to hire someone to do color grading for them
Yeah, they
because
do.
like what the hell do they want to make like it the drab look worked for the Winter Soldier and it
It
really
did,
worked
yeah.
for Civil War because it was intentional. But if
Yeah,
these films are going to start being like this big bombastic adventure like in Shang-Chi and in the Eternals and also Spider-Man Far From Home, they're going to have to heighten it a little bit. Like someone did like
hmm
this amazing thing with Shang-Chi when he's on the bus and it's like really dull and then this person literally just put an image right beside it and it looked way better. I don't even know what they did, but it looked so cool. Like just considerably more visually eye-popping and they didn't even change it that much. So
hmm
it's, Marvel needs to work on that. But anyway, back
I
to the reviews.
yeah, I think Marvel just they want to make everything seem and feel like it's in the same universe, so they want all the movies to kind of look similar. So I think Eternals looks the most different of most of their recent movies, but I still feel like
Still
Chloe
dry.
Zhao's a little held back still from
Yeah.
Marvel. Um, so yeah, I think 100% not an awards play besides for like visual effects. I think it'll definitely get in there. Everything else, I would say no. Um,
Maybe
yeah.
production design because like they've done some really big things.
Based off the trailers, though, it seems like a lot of it's like in a desert and like other places. So I don't know how much of a production design thing that is. I think there's going to be a lot of period pieces this year too. So
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Don't
maybe you're
really
right.
know. I think it would have a possible chance, but I don't think so right now. So certainly no Black Panther in its awards play prospects. That is
Disappointing.
for sure. Yeah, it is disappointing. We'll have to see what we think. It's about 2 weeks away at this point. It also comes out the week of Spencer, which I am significantly more excited for.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's that. That's all of the news. Not a lot of news this week. There were a few trailers that dropped for some award players. Let's start off with, did you see the trailer for Being the Ricardos?
I did.
What did you think of it?
I don't typically watch trailers, but I'll do it for this show because I think it's kind of important.
This
But
wasn't
the
even really
pandemic,
a trailer, to be honest, in my
yeah,
opinion.
the pandemic really got me out of the habit of watching trailers. I used to love watching them, but
Hmm.
studios give far too much away with them, particularly Universal. And that's just like a side note. Universal, you are horrible at cutting trailers. You should
Yeah,
just release posters, to be honest. Like
yeah.
Halloween Kills, I only watched one of the trailers. Yeah, I thought I saw way too much. Like that was
Hmm.
ridiculous. Sort
Dune showed
yourselves out.
off too much too in their trailers.
I
Like
only watched the first one.
oh well, that's good because the first one didn't show that much, but in the second one there was like a ton of cool action and stuff, and like all of that is pretty much like Paul's premonitions of the future. It's not like an actual scene, but the movie's still amazing, so it doesn't really
Yeah.
matter.
Okay. Well, I
But
cannot
back
comment
to
on that.
being the Ricardos.
But I can comment on being the Ricardos. And you know what? I have to say, I'm significantly more excited for this movie now. I, but at the same time, we haven't seen too much from it. It's just a trailer, and I do think there are more exciting awards films coming out this year. But at the same time, it's not one that I'm going to be like, I can wait a few weeks. I'll probably watch it the day it comes out. You
Yeah,
know, like it's
yeah,
that kind of situation. Like I waited like about 2 months to watch Trial of the Chicago 7. I had
yeah,
zero
yeah.
interest.
It came out in September too, so
I thought it was October.
I believe it. Oh, I think it came out on theaters in September, and then 2 weeks later in early
Yeah.
October. Um, which for this one, I think this comes out in theaters the first weekend of September, then 2 weeks later, or December, not September. They sound similar. But yeah, this trailer, um, I think it looked visually decent for an Aaron Sorkin film. Still, the cinematography wasn't like as good as it could have been. Um, Nicole Kidman and Javier Bardem, they didn't show a ton of them in this. I don't know. I don't know if that's on purpose because they don't look too much like the actual people. But they are two great performers. Um, and I think the family of Lucille Ball said that they liked picking like the Nicole Kidman choice, so that's important too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I I don't know. I think this is definitely Amazon's biggest push for awards this year. They don't have a ton this year. They have this. I forget they have one other movie, but they don't have a ton. This is definitely their biggest one.
Yeah.
Um, I would say the best shots are screenplay because Sorkin is Sorkin.
Yeah.
And Nicole Kidman. I doubt Javier Bardem gets in. Uh, yeah, that's that's what I would think is the best Oscar chances. Yeah, it was definitely a teaser, but it looked decent. I'll check it out.
Yeah. If you were Lucille Ball's family and like Nicole Kidman was picked to be someone from your family, I think you'd be pretty happy. Like
Yeah,
you'd be like,
yeah, that's a
I'm not
pretty
gonna
good choice.
complain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she doesn't have.
So
Lucille Ball had a very expressive face. Nicole Kidman doesn't really, in my opinion, but I'm sure she'll still do great.
yeah, look, we'll see. I think it'll be good.
Yeah,
Aaron Sorkin is certainly a solid person to
He's
make
a good
content.
writer. He's a good writer.
Yeah,
Directing, he's
he
decent.
hires wonderful editors. I'll tell you
Yeah,
that much.
yeah, he does.
Mhm.
And the editing of this trailer was really good. So yeah,
Mhm.
and apparently
Maybe it'll get
this
into it.
kind of similar to what was it, Steve Jobs, where this takes place like only over the course of a week of their life. I think Steve Jobs was over like 3 different Apple events, and this is over a week of doing the show. So I like that more than the traditional biopic. So
I'm just done with biopics. Like,
yeah,
I truly, truly am. Particularly music ones. I just hate them so much. I think the only reason Andra Day got nominated is because she was truly phenomenal.
she was really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think I'm so done with this genre. Like, there's so many more coming down the line, and
Mhm.
oh, just no. And also
Elvis.
biopics, they kind of kill creativity because
Yeah.
this year a lot of people being nominated are real people who like exist in something else, and
Hmm.
I think that's wrong. I don't think that all forms of content should be based off of something that happened in real life. I think real life can inspire amazing content. Like, say, in Dune, I'm sure the writer of Dune was like inspired by different stories that he read, and then that ultimately created many years later this amazing film. But I just am worried about the trend of like Spencer. I think Spencer's going to do something very interesting, which is why
Hmm.
I'm not necessarily like about as angry as I am with that as I am about the whole thing in general. I
Yeah.
just worry that it could kill creativity in a way, and I think that box office reception ultimately does. Like a really uncreative, terrible, horrible, disgusting film of Bohemian Rhapsody
Oh
made
yeah.
almost $1 billion.
That's insane.
Filled.
And
That's
it
like
won.
shameful as a
It
society.
won. Rami Malek won.
4 fucking Oscars. Rami
Mhm.
Malek shouldn't have been
Yeah,
nominated. Like
he
that's
should have been.
ridiculous.
I find it insane still that Rami Malek won, and the next year Taron Egerton didn't even get nominated. That's just disrespectful.
Yeah.
But it's getting tiring. I think honestly, studios and actors and everyone has realized that if you want to get nominated at the Academy, you have to play a real life person, and that's so tiring that I don't know. I feel like they need to honor some of these performances that are not just people like making a
Mm.
voice similar to a real life person and looking because of makeup, which doesn't even have to do with the performance, looking like a person. It's just so
Yeah.
tiring. That's not like the peak of acting. That's
Mm.
a lot of this is imitating, which I don't consider acting, and
Mm.
it's frustrating.
Like it would be one thing if these biopics are really creative. And look, these creative biopics certainly exist. I, Tonya
Hmm.
is a really creative film. And
Jackie.
Margot Robbie and Alison Janney deserve Jackie. All these a lot of these films are truly, truly amazing. I think Spencer will be one of them, but I
Hmm.
think in the current climate they're few and far between. And I think there's so many of them that like it just becomes entitled. Like these actors seem so entitled to a nomination. Like remember back in 2017, you had like Darkest Hour,
Oh
Roman
my
J.
god.
Israel. Roman J. Like Denzel Washington got nominated for that. You know,
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
you had Get Out, like an original performance, like a truly original
Call Me by
performance.
Your Name. Timmy. He should have won
Yeah,
that. Him or Daniel. They
Daniel
deserve
Kaluuya really should have won, in my opinion, because like just wow, like what a
it. Hmm.
discovery. And we'll
Yeah.
talk
And he
about him
did
when we
win
talk about.
4 years later. So,
Oh my God, he did win an Oscar. Oh
yeah.
yeah, I forgot about that.
But he did it
Oh,
for a biopic.
he did it for a biopic. That's another really, really good one though. That's another
Yeah,
like
that is a
amazing
good
one.
one. That is a good one. You need to have the right people attached. That's the thing.
Yeah.
If you get just a basic director who does a basic biopic formula,
Mm.
it'll probably still get nominations, but it just isn't interesting.
Yeah. You also need like a really great story to tell. Judas and the
Yeah.
Black Messiah told an amazing story.
Hmm.
An amazing story that I
Yeah.
think directors have tried to tell over the past few years, the different biopics set in that era, but I don't
Yeah.
think any of them ever did anything on the level of what Shaka King did, which was
He
just
didn't.
so good.
Yeah. I want to know what he's doing next. I still don't know
Yes.
what he's attached to do next, but yeah.
If they offer him that Superman movie, he should say no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, that's being the Ricardos and also our thoughts on biopics in general. And
Yeah.
then the Lost. Did you see the trailer for the Lost Daughter?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it looked pretty decent. I'm most excited for the performances, to be honest. I love all of the actresses who are in here, especially Olivia Colman and Dakota Johnson and Jessie Buckley. Well, those are most of them,
Yeah.
but I love all of them, especially Olivia Colman. I want to see her win some award this season just so I can hear her speech because she's just so likable. And I think she's going to get nominated because I think she's hitting her Meryl Streep like era. I don't think she'll always be nominated like Meryl Streep, but I think there are certain performers who like once you get nominated, there's like multiple years in a row where it's like, oh, we really love you, and then eventually it will
Yeah.
probably run out. But I think she's in that era right now, so I
Mm.
think she'll get nominated. Yeah, but the performances, also Maggie Gyllenhaal directing it, an actor directing actors, that always gives good performances. So yeah, what do you think?
I'm excited for it. An actress who I just think is amazing that people don't give any credit to is Dakota Johnson. I
Yeah,
think she elevates
yeah,
everything she's in.
she does.
Bad Times at the El Royale is a very good film with incredible talent in it, but I love her. She was in other stuff. Have you ever seen the Luca Guadagnino film, A Bigger Splash?
I have not. No.
Amazing. Really,
Yeah,
really good. And
I'll
she's
have to
amazing
check it
in it.
out.
She's great in Suspiria. She's great in everything she's in. I haven't seen the 50 Shades movies, but I assume she probably
Yeah,
elevates
I haven't either.
whatever's
Yeah,
there. But she's a great actress, so I'm excited for her to just be in this prestige-ish kind of film.
yeah,
And I'm excited for the movie as well. I think the performances will be something to really sink your teeth into. Maybe it's another Pieces of a Woman. Maybe.
yeah. It is Netflix. Yeah. Um, both of the 50 Shades performers are in some awards stuff this year. Good for them. Good for them. They're doing a rebound, just like Kristen and Robert. Uh, yeah, I think this looks pretty good. I'll check it out. I think the performances are probably the best shot at anything.
Hmm. Have you seen The Lighthouse by any chance?
I have, yes. That's a good movie.
I watched it for the first time last night. It's one of
Oh,
those films like Hereditary and all those pretentious horror films that seem like they have
um,
something. Christ, it made no sense. Like, what was it about? What was this movie about? Like, I watched it
it's
last night. Like, what was it about?
it's about those two men and their mental state, you know, while they're on the lighthouse.
Excellent.
It's
They
yeah.
totally warranted all that time of my life just being burned up.
I don't people adore that film. I don't adore it. I think it's well done. It's a typical A24 movie in a lot of ways. Um, the performances are really what made me enjoy it. Willem Dafoe needs his Oscar.
Oh
That's
my
all.
God, yeah.
He
Does he
wasn't
have a movie
nominated
this
for that. He's in two movies this year, but I don't think either of them are. He was in The Card Counter and he's in Nightmare Alley.
year?
Um, but I don't know. I don't think he's gonna win for those. Probably. You never know. Um, yeah.
I will say it was a shame he wasn't nominated. Well, I mean, I don't think The Lighthouse warranted any Oscar nominations except for cinematography. But the Best Supporting Actor category back in 2019 was such a mess. I don't think any of the actors who were nominated really warranted their
I
nomination.
hated that category so much.
They
So
were so
much.
bad.
I despise it.
All of them. All of them
Where
should have been
Song
like
Kang Ho?
replaced.
Where was he?
Song Kang Ho. I would have even said Chris Evans for Knives Out because he did something like really
Yeah.
funky.
Yeah. Sterling K.
Like,
Brown in Waves was amazing.
yes, that's
That
a good
needed a
A24 movie.
nomination. That's a great, yeah, that is a great one.
Mm.
Yeah. Brad Pitt won. Like, please, come on. Come on.
He was the best part of a movie that I constantly wanted to end. So, like,
Yeah.
if you're going to award him on that, sure. But, like, come on, you know?
Yeah.
Song
Yeah.
Kang Ho truly did, like, a great job for a movie that, like, has a lot of really amazing cast members in it.
Yeah.
So for him to really shine through that way was great. Maybe like just to be nominated, especially with like Brad Pitt being there, Tom Hanks being thrown in there for no
Yeah.
discernible reason whatsoever. I didn't even see that movie, but I don't think I
Biopic.
need to. Fucking biopic.
Biopic. That's the answer to so many things.
Yeah.
Um,
The
yeah.
Irishman was a fucking biopic as well.
It was. I did like those two performances though, so I have no grudges against those being in there.
I liked them, but they weren't anything amazing.
Who was the fifth besides Tom, Brad, and the two Irishmen?
I don't remember. I've actually been trying to remember this for the
Oh,
past few
Anthony
days.
Hopkins for the Two Popes. That was a good performance too.
I don't think
That
I
was
saw
good.
that.
Yeah, he was good. So I'm okay with that one
Good
too.
for him. I like him.
He's good, yeah. And then also, while we're on Willem Dafoe, he should have won for the Flora Project in 2017, but
Who
Sam
won for that?
Rockwell,
Who won that?
Sam
Oh,
Rockwell needed his Oscar.
he shouldn't have been
Yeah,
nominated that year either.
yeah. At least it
Like he
wasn't a
was great.
biopic.
At least it wasn't a biopic, but still.
Yeah. And then he stole Timmy's nomination the following year for Vice of all things. Ugh.
Now look, I love me Vice, but like I think
Timmy.
if you want, like George W. Bush is such a big person who has done a lot of
That's imitating
things.
once again. That's an imitation. That's not a real
Yeah,
performance.
they didn't write a character for George W. Bush. It
Yeah,
was
no.
Dick Cheney's movie. Like George W. Bush was an afterthought. He
Hmm.
had about, I'd say, maybe 7 minutes of screen time. Now, look,
If
Sam
that.
Rockwell, the makeup was really good on him. He
Steve
kind of
Carell was
looked like
better.
George W. Bush. Like, he kind of looked like him, but I honestly would have thought he could have been anyone. Like, he didn't, like,
Yeah,
look like him that much. Like,
no.
not as much as um, Tyler Perry looked like Colin Powell and Dick Cheney with
Hmm.
Christian Bale. Like, Jesus Christ. That was
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah.
And you
Yeah.
could potentially
Mhm.
write a George W. Bush role that is like really delves deep into the psyche of that man, and you
Yeah.
could see like an Oscar nomination for it. But he was on screen for like I would 7 minutes at a push. I don't even remember, and the only thing I remember is him like shaking his legs under the table in the Oval Office. That's all I remember.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
not an Oscar nominated. That's not an Oscar nomination worthy
No,
role.
no, it isn't. Have you seen? I was thinking of who would play George W. Bush. Have you heard of Jamie Costa?
No,
Have you seen the viral Robin Williams test footage that went around this past week?
I didn't really want to watch it out of respect, but yeah.
Yeah, he's a very good. I think I think you could use the word imitator, but I think he
Hmm,
does. I think he actually like embodies the person more than imitates them.
hmm,
Um, he did a very good job in that
hmm.
clip. I think it looked like a biopic performance that would get nominated. But yeah,
Okay. Well, maybe he could play George W.
yeah,
Bush in a movie that actually warrants it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know if they should make a Robin Williams movie. I don't know.
No, I don't think so. I think that's just
That,
too much. That's
yeah,
too much.
it depend if his family's okay with it, maybe. But I don't know what his family thinks about it either.
I don't
So
think we need to make a movie about every single thing that's happened in
yeah,
human history. We
yeah.
have
No, we
history
don't.
for a reason. We have books. We have history classes, you know?
Yeah,
We have the news. We have archives. I don't think we need to make a film about like even the eyes of Tammy Faye. That's like a story, certainly. Doesn't like
yeah,
warrant a
yeah.
movie, you know?
No, that was put together for performances, is what I would say.
For Oscar purposes.
Yeah.
That's the thing. These films are only being made because they know that they can get Oscars for them. I think like Vice was a film that I think Adam McKay wanted to make. I think he was angry. But then you also have the W film, just W, back in 2008, which was made for
Oh,
purely like not like nomination purposes and
yeah,
probably political purposes too. Like that was
yeah.
ridiculous, and they do it all the time. It was there's so many of them. Like the United States versus Billie Holiday, there was already a Billie Holiday film.
Hmm.
Now this one was I'm happy it's made because Andrew Day is just so phenomenal.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
why? You
Oscars.
know, Oscars.
Yep,
Isn't
they're
Green
digging
Book
deep
a
too.
biopic as well?
Is a Oh, wait, for what?
Green Book, isn't it just
Oh,
generally a
Green Book.
biopic?
I thought you said Great Book. Pretty much, yeah. Although not a very accurate one according to the family. So
The family, yeah.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
was like an entertaining film, but like Best Picture over
No.
like
That
everything they
was
had that year.
Yeah, that was a bad year nomination wise in picture in my opinion.
Mm,
But definitely not Green Book of all things.
yeah,
But yeah,
Roma.
I
Anyways,
wouldn't say
move on.
Roma. I wouldn't say Roma.
I loved that movie.
What would I
I really
say?
did.
I would say
A Stars Born.
would I say Stars Born? I guess I would of the nominees. I
Yeah.
would say Hereditary of the non-nominees.
Ugh. I would have
Yeah.
remembered that for a Razzie. That's ugh.
No, that's too far. That's too far. Okay. Okay. Now let's get into some reviews. First, with the recent release this weekend, of course, the most anticipated movie of everyone who has taste for the whole year. It's Dune. It's exciting. It's finally released, just in theaters. So go check it out there. Yeah. So as lots of people know, I had high expectations going into this, and somehow it managed to surpass them. I can't um, put words to the way I felt leaving the theater. It is such a like huge spectacle. It's it's an epic, like I don't know, like I don't think we've seen anything like this probably since Lord of the Rings, to be honest. It's very, very epic. It felt like the emotions I had leaving it may be similar to how people felt leaving Lord of the Rings or Star Wars for the first time. It's just like eye-opening, and very just like I don't know. It's hard to like put words to it. It's just like wow, it's an epic. Um, but I think one of the big things with this movie is the realism. Um, there are certain directors who go for realism, like Nolan. I don't think anyone does it as well as Denis does, to be honest. I think his like this movie takes place in like the year 10,000 like 190 or something. Um, and I felt like he literally time traveled to that point on those planets and filmed it. Like there's not a single thing that feels intangible, that feels like it wouldn't be real. I think a lot of that has to do with he shot with lots of what's the word, practical effects instead of visual effects. The production design is amazing. Everything technical wise, like wow, like I think everyone, even if they don't like the movie, has to admit it is a technical, like a huge technical achievement. It's just such a grand film. Performance wise, uh, Timmy is good as always. He gives a good performance. He does what he needs to do as the lead here. What I've noticed in a lot of these movies lately, the lead is often not the standout. That's just kind of the way it is sometimes. So he's not the standout, but he does a really good job. Um, Jason Momoa did a surprisingly good job. I would say this is his best performance yet. He's insanely likable as this character. He just brings this charisma that no one else in the movie really has. Like lots of these characters are like in emotional states, and he's just this very charismatic guy, which makes him stand out. Then also, I would say Rebecca Ferguson, of course. I would say this is her best performance yet. She was amazing in Doctor Sleep. I know you have a place in your heart for that movie. But I would say this is my favorite performance of hers. She was a huge standout. She got a lot to work with here. I think the most she's ever been given as an actress to work with, which is good for her because usually she's given supporting roles. And this is close to a co-lead, especially in the second half. So yeah, she is really good, and all like the powers she has, like with her voice and stuff, very very cool. You can see a lot of the influence that Star Wars took from this, even though people are going to be like, oh, this is similar to Star Wars, even though Star Wars took from this, which is kind of sad to think for Dune. Poor Dune. But yeah, the score is incredible. I've been listening to it nonstop ever since it released. Especially the you're not gonna know what this means, but the Gom Jabbar scene score with the needle to his neck is just an amazing piece of scoring. So yeah, Hans Zimmer, he's coming for that Oscar. No one else is going to come close to this level of score this year. Really good. The Bene Gesserit in general are just like stood out to me as such a fascinating group of people, more so than any of the other houses or like different warriors or such, or the Fremen or whatever. The Bene Gesserit were really cool, especially in the costume design with like their veils, and like there was an odd like religious aspect to them. So they were really cool. The pacing, I've seen lots of people complain about this. It's not paced like a normal blockbuster, and I'm sorry, people, you're gonna have to deal with that. Not everything has to follow the same boring blockbuster formula. This has its big climax about like an hour and 20 minutes in, and then a lot of the movie is um, a what do you call it, like a denouement, I believe is the professional word for it. For the rest of the movie, where it just slows down and there's not as much conflict. But I think he chose a really good place to end this movie. Also, a lot of complaints I've seen, like, oh, it's just a part one and it doesn't tell its own story. This tells its own story. I'm sorry. Where was this energy for Infinity War? Um, this tells as much of a complete story as it can. It's half of a book, and it ends at a part where you clearly see how much the lead character of Paul has changed from the beginning of the movie to the end, and it's complete in that journey. And then you see where he could potentially go further in the future, and that's how the best you can really do at completing one story and then also teasing it for the future. Just like Fellowship of the Ring did the same thing. I don't know why it's such a big deal for this movie for some reason, but oh well, I think it's a complete story. Yeah. If you're a Zendaya fan, this is like kind of clickbait. This is the closest I've seen to clickbait for like a movie. Pretty much all of her scenes are in the trailers, and I find that hilarious. Zendaya fans have truly been baited into seeing this movie, and I just find that funny.
Jack, don't tell them that because there's a
Well,
lot of them.
hopefully they've already seen it. So yeah.
Judging by the box office, they kind of haven't. So we need more of
Well,
them too.
okay, Zendaya fans, she's in it. She's in the first scene. How about that? So yeah,
Yeah,
go watch it.
she's in
Go
half
watch
the
it.
movie, I heard, which is really
Uh,
good.
she's in every scene. Somewhere on frame, she's kind of like a cameo in every scene.
Yeah,
Like you could have to look like in the back, and you'll just see Zendaya standing there.
they
So she's in every
digitally
scene.
inserted her into every shot
Hmm.
of the movie.
Yeah, yeah. And her and Timmy kiss every 10 seconds. So that's
Mm,
also
yeah.
for the Zendaya and Timmy fans to go check it out. But yeah, overall, this is easily my favorite movie of this whole year so far. It has usurped A Quiet Place Part Two for that spot. It is really just such. I know I said this with No Time to Die, but I feel this even more so with this. This is what we should be doing with these huge, expensive blockbuster movies. Not, no offense, Marvel, the same thing so many times. I know people love it. I like a lot of them too. But this is like changing potentially cinema and like opening a lot of people's eyes to like what can really be done with that amount of money on the big screen. So see it
Well,
on the big
Tenet did
screen.
that too, to a degree.
It did
I know you
not.
didn't like it, but it changed it.
What was different about that from like Inception?
Like a lot of things were different about Tenet than Inception.
Like visually and technical wise?
Yeah, I would say absolutely.
Well, they put things
Like,
in reverse, but that's not like anything new. This
where have you
has
seen that
dragon.
before?
This has dragonfly ships, Ben. We have never seen dragonfly ships before. Okay,
Okay.
so this is very fresh and unique. Tenet was very good technically, but it's no
Yeah, we've
Dune.
never seen a space movie before. Never.
We've never seen a space movie like this since Star Wars, and I think this Star Wars doesn't have a feeling of realism to it. Star Wars is a it's not a sci-fi film. Star Wars is a fantasy. Um,
Mm,
this is a sci-fi film. This feels real. This feels more like Game of Thrones in space than it does like Star Wars, which is
mm.
so good. If you like Game of Thrones, you'll like this movie.
Do
Yeah,
you think Star Wars should go in this direction, or is it too far gone?
I don't. I think Star Wars should stay a fantasy because that's what George Lucas wanted it to be. I don't think they should try and go too far from his initial like I don't know what you would call it
Vision.
idea for the whole vision for the whole franchise. Because I feel like that's like Star Wars should be Star Wars. Star Wars shouldn't try and be other things. Which I feel it tried to do with the recent movies, but that was trying too much. You know, there's a balance to it. You don't want to
Yeah.
copy what you got to do it like the prequels did. Have
Mm.
some aspects to it, but make it fresh and new. Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do with Star Wars. Dune should be the next big sci-fi franchise. So yeah, that's
Mm.
Dune. Really good movie. Go check it out, everyone. Yeah, amazing. Any questions on Dune, Ben, or are you duned out?
No, no, I've kind of just stayed away from everything. I find people on Twitter to just be very annoying, so I just have muted Dune, everything related to it, because I
Annoying
don't
in
really
what
want to
way?
see what.
How are they annoying?
like all the capital letters when people talk about something when they like
Oh,
it.
I
It
did
just
that. Yeah,
drives me insane. It's the
of course.
stands. Like
I stand
I
it.
can't stand it.
I stand.
Zendaya people, but like every single celebrity has like people like that, like
Yeah.
they just exist everywhere. And like, all of the words that like I just can't stand it. So I have all Dune muted, but also because I don't really want to see anything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I really want to go into every movie now as blind as possible. And like
Yeah.
I'm
Same.
really glad I did that for Halloween Kills because I just experienced so much with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Candyman. Candyman, I like was it was
Yeah.
so much that I hadn't seen, and even like A Quiet Place, like all of the amazing films that we've seen over the past like year. Like I Care a Lot. I knew nothing about that movie. I didn't even see a
Yeah.
trailer. I only saw the
Yeah.
poster going into that
That's
film, and I
that's
loved every second of it.
why I love award season so much because I don't watch a lot of trailers for most of the award season movies. Like
Mm,
usually I'll watch the first one. Like watched the first trailer for Nightmare Alley. I doubt if there's a second one that I'll watch it.
mm,
Um, yeah, I just and like I if it wasn't for this, I would have never watched the trailer for The Lost Daughter. Um,
mm.
so yeah,
Yeah, I did this for you.
yeah, yeah. It didn't reveal too much, I don't think, thankfully.
No.
So yeah, yes, yes. And now we're moving on to something also interesting, a review of sorts. We're going to be retrospective reviewing 12 Years a Slave. This is a Best Picture winning movie of the year 2013. I believe that's when it released, so the 2014 Oscars. Um, this is like, wow, neither of us have seen this before. I just finished it last night. This is a hard movie to watch. This is heartbreaking. This is like,
Mm,
it's an amazing movie. I'm so glad it won Best Picture. It's really good. But wow, it's intense and
mm.
it's just really hard to watch. What do you think of this movie?
Steve McQueen is such an amazing director. He
He
is
is.
so good. All of his
Yeah.
songs are amazing, and I think it's really sad that he's kind of been forgotten as like one of the like best directors working because I think a lot of people
Hmm.
ignored Widows, which is just honestly one of my favorite movies, definitely one of my favorite crime movies. I just think it's phenomenal,
Yeah.
and everyone ignored that movie. And I'm glad that he had 12 Years a Slave that was so universally beloved because he truly deserves that recognition as a director. And I don't think
Hmm.
he'll ever get it again because I don't know. I just don't think he will. But he's so
Yeah.
talented. This is a really, really good movie.
Yeah. I just, especially the lead character, he was so admirable. Like in no matter like how terrible the situations, the different like slave owners he went to, all of the like punishment and pain and just terrible, terrible stuff. And he like never caved into despair as like he saw so many other people around him caving into despair. He always had this little slimmer of hope left in him, which is just, I imagine, like 12 years. So difficult to do. So difficult to do. Especially that opening kidnap scene. That's just like scary. Even though I knew it was going to happen, it's just like, wow. It just, it reveals so much about like like in school learn about slavery and like I don't know, probably in like history classes watch some documentaries and stuff, but seeing it this personal and up close and knowing that there were thousands and like hundreds of thousands of people who had to go through this, it's really really like I said, heartbreaking. I had to look away in a lot of moments just because I hoped looking away would, like, I don't know, stop the horrible things that were happening from happening. It's uncomfortable. The performances really really good. I don't understand how I always mispronounce his name. I'm so sorry. Chiwetel Ejiofor. Um, I don't understand how he didn't win. I know Matthew McConaughey lost weight, but still, he is so good. Yeah,
Like everyone, like that was a great category. It
it
really that
was. That
year,
was a great year for actor.
and he shouldn't have won. He
No,
shouldn't have.
he shouldn't have. No, there were a lot of great performances. I think that was Leo's year for Wolf of Wall Street. I believe.
Yeah,
I think Joaquin Phoenix for Her. I don't know if he was
yeah,
nominated though.
that was so good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, Chiwetel he's really good. He's the anchor to this movie. Like I said, he expresses so much through subtle expressions on his face in this.
Mm,
Like he never has like any big scenes. like any like screaming that I can remember, like Oscar baity scenes. It's so subtle, which I know the Academy doesn't like, but it's really really good. Um, I was also surprised by the cast. I really only knew Chiwetel Lupita and Michael Fassbender were in this. I didn't know Benedict Cumberbatch was going to pop up. Brad Pitt was going to pop up. Like so many people. So that surprised me.
So many people.
A lot of people. Who else? I feel. Oh, Paul Dano. He was good. Yeah, lots of good people here. Michael Fassbender is. He is detestable in this. He does a great job at playing someone so disgusting who you hate so much.
Hmm.
I just yeah, I wanted like some sort of like more revenge on him, but obviously that wouldn't be accurate to the times.
Hmm.
Yeah. What do you think of the performances? Obviously, Lupita. She won the Oscar for
Oh,
this.
the
She was
pizza.
amazing, amazing,
I
amazing.
mean, you're the Lupita, like proper Lupita fan,
I am.
even
I
though
am a
like
stan. She deserved the
she's
Oscar for
just
this.
amazing.
Yeah, this was her first big screen performance,
And she won.
and she won, deservedly so. That rarely happens, and I'm so glad it happened for her.
Yeah.
The character here, Patsy, she's just so I don't know, like warm and likable. And I
Yeah.
just felt so bad for her throughout, and she expresses like the pain and like all of
Mhm.
that just so good. She also has a
I
very
will say
expressive
though,
voice.
shout out to June Squibb in Nebraska, who I just love so
Was she
much.
in
She was so
this?
good. No, she was in and she
Oh,
was
the same
nominated
year. I was
alongside.
gonna say, who was she in this? Yeah,
Oh,
she was
but
also
yeah,
good then.
yeah, but yeah,
Uh,
Lupita definitely.
yeah, yeah. That's pretty much it for the performances. I liked how Benedict Cumberbatch was playing a more decent human being than a lot of the other slave owners, even though he was still a slave owner. You could tell he had at least some humanity in him. Um, a little bit. He was nicer compared to people like Michael Fassbender, but still obviously not a great person. Sarah Paulson. I didn't know she was in this as well.
Like
I haven't seen her in many movies, so she
hmm,
was she was good in this.
she was the one who conned me into seeing the fucking post. Oh,
Oh,
she was only in there
yeah,
for like 2 minutes. I was fuming.
yeah.
Fuck.
You got
Anyways,
Sarah Paulson baited.
yeah, I was a big fan of her, but I still am a pretty big fan of her. But like,
Yeah,
I wouldn't like obsess over everything she does the way I used to. But yeah, no, great film. And
yeah. Especially technically, the cinematography
yeah,
and production design and all that. It's really beautiful, and he
mm,
lingers on his shots too. Like he doesn't
he's
like cut
so
away.
talented.
He doesn't cut away immediately. Like especially one shot, I believe, like when what's his name, Solomon was like about to be hung, and then he like eventually gets freed, and they just linger on him like just barely with his feet on the ground, holding on for his life for like a good minute. It's just like it's hard to watch, but he does a really good job. I feel like all of his shots have like a meaning to them and a purpose, which is important. Um, but yeah, in the final scene too. Oh my god, that was heartbreaking when he gets back to his family.
It's such a heartbreaking movie.
And when he had to say bye to Patsy, that also like broke my heart because like he's going back to being free and living a better life than being a slave, obviously, but she is stuck there. It's just so sad. She deserves so much better. But yeah, it's brutal. It's important. It's impactful. And yeah, I would definitely say if you haven't seen it, check it out. You may be physically and emotionally exhausted by the end, like I was, but yeah,
Mm.
definitely worth it. Great movie. Any final thoughts on 12 Years a Slave, Ben?
I think it's really easy to look back at all the Oscar films, like that one Best Picture, and like, oh, that probably shouldn't have won. But I think over the past decade, I would say 12 Years a Slave is probably one of the only ones where I can say I couldn't have picked a better film out of the films that were nominated. There were great films nominated the year 12 Years a Slave was nominated. Was an American Hustle nominated that year, or was that the year before?
I believe American Hustle was that year. I'm not
Yeah.
completely sure though. It may have been
American
the year
Hustle.
after.
Well, either way, that film is brilliant. I love it, and
Yeah,
I would say
it's
that
good.
those two would probably be the ones I would pick for Best Picture. But I still think 12 Years a Slave is probably the Best Picture winner over the past decade. I love The Shape of Water, but
Mhm. Yeah,
I don't think it's as good as 12 Years a Slave, but I definitely think it was the best film that year to win. Well, look, that's something completely different. It's
I
a
would say
different
Get Out
conversation. Shape of Water or Get Out. I would say those two.
or Call
Yeah.
Me by Your Name. I love that movie.
Dirty
Yeah.
movie.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. The age thing is an issue, but other than that, I think it's really good. Okay, and now, we did a poll last week. I posted it. Let me pull it up. It was asking the question. Here, I'm gonna pull it up on my phone. It was asking the question: which actor in Dune do you think is most likely to win an Oscar next? You know, we have the likes of Timothée Chalamet, Rebecca Ferguson, Josh Brolin, Javier Bardem, Zendaya, lots of people. And in a relatively big sweep, and number one, guess who got the most votes? Guess who won?
Timothy Zendaya.
No, it was not Zendaya.
Timothy Chalamet.
It was Timothée Chalamet with 193 votes. Timothée
Okay.
Chalamet. Second place, who was it?
Rebecca Ferguson.
No.
It was Zendaya.
It was Oscar Isaac.
What? Really?
Yeah, with 102 votes. And then
Good for
everyone
Oscar.
else, Zendaya would be next with 21 votes, and then Rebecca Ferguson, Javier Bardem, and Stellan Skarsgård were all in the teens. Yeah.
Well,
Would you agree with that? I don't know if Timmy would win next. I feel like maybe Oscar would win next.
I'm not sure if Oscar Isaac will ever win. I don't know. Maybe if he's given a good enough role, but like he's been given so many, and they just don't care. But maybe he needs to be given right role.
Maybe he needs to be in a biopic.
Yeah, maybe.
He hasn't done a biopic.
Maybe he does. Yeah.
You know, that's what he needs to do.
Play? It could be anyone,
I
really.
don't know. Yeah, he does a good job playing a lot of people. I'm sure they dug down all the way to Tammy Faye, so I'm sure they can find someone for him to play.
Someone.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good. Timmy's eventually gonna win. I don't know if Zendaya will ever win. I doubt Rebecca will ever win. I'm sorry. Yeah, Stellan Skarsgård should win. He hasn't won an Oscar. He's who should win next. He's a great actor.
He's a good actor. Yeah, he actually is. So that'd be nice.
He would be, and he's so good in Dune. He plays like this obese dude who's like a Jabba-like character. He's really good.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So what should our poll this week be? Any thoughts?
Should 12 Years a Slave have won Best Picture? Yes or no? Or is that just like everyone will just say yeah?
We could ask that, yeah. I don't think there's any recent releases for the time we film next week. I think it's just Last Night in Soho, and there's nothing Oscar-wise to really ask about that.
No.
Yeah, we could do that. Or, yeah, let's do that. Should 12 Years a Slave have won Best Picture?
Or what we'll do in second weekend drop be? Plus 60%.
It will be negative minus 22% drop.
Yeah.
Best of the entire pandemic. I don't know how. I think it's doing good enough. They pretty much already said they're going to do a part 2. I think part 2 is going to get Return of the King treatment at the Oscars because it's going to be so epic and huge. And yeah.
Okay.
I didn't talk a lot about its Oscar chances. I think it's going to sweep the technicals. Like all of them.
Will it get nominated for picture or supporting actress?
Picture, yes. Supporting actress, no.
That's very sad.
No. She would be deserving, honestly, but I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah, those kind of movies often don't get performances, and he'll get director too. He should win. I still have him winning.
Oh,
yeah. Denis.
Yeah.
Villeneuve. Oh, I thought you said who. Did you say Woo?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say Denis directed the movie.
He's a great guy.
He is. That's easily. They often go with the technical achievements, and that's easily the biggest technical achievement of the year so far. So yeah. Anything else that you would like to talk about Oscar-wise this week before we get out of here?
I suppose see Dune. It probably needs all the help it can get. Any ticket would be appreciated. Even if you don't see the movie, just buy one anyway.
It would be appreciated. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I don't know how much effect box office truly has on the awards this year, but I think it's doing good enough.
Well, I
So
think in terms of a sequel, I know people say, "Oh, box office doesn't matter" and stuff like that, but I really do think it will for Dune. It's doing well overseas, but at the same time, it only opened with like $7 million more than Blade Runner, didn't it? Because Blade Runner was like 33, wasn't it?
yeah, yeah.
So like,
Blade Runner wasn't in a pandemic though,
no, and that's good. Like, it did make $7 million
and it
dollars
wasn't on
more.
HBO Max.
Yeah, and Dune has a lot going against it, but at the same time, it's still only $7 million more. That's really not a lot in the grand scheme of things. So I hope it holds well, and I hope that the overseas box office just yeets it across the finish line in terms of
I think
profitability.
it's impressive that it is Warner Brothers' biggest opening this entire year.
I, I mean, is it
Godzilla
though?
versus
Like,
Kong.
they
Yeah,
didn't really have anything major.
no, but it's still their biggest.
Yeah, that's good for Denis. I'm
Yeah,
really happy for him because I like
it's
his work so much.
it's certainly doing better than The Last Duel, which is so sad. That movie
Hmm.
cost 100 million and it opened to 5, and it's such a
What
good
was its
movie.
drop? Was it like down to like,
Oh, I didn't see its drop. I imagine it's a bad drop.
yeah, like Halloween was 70%, which is like
Oh,
terrible. But at the
that's
same
bad.
time, that movie made back its budget twice already. It has nothing to worry about.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
Last Duel opened to
yeah,
5 and probably dropped around the same.
yeah. It's
Like,
sad.
yikes.
Very sad. I think that big of a flop could actually hurt its awards chances. Yeah, even though
Sad.
Jodie Comer deserves it. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the Oscars stuff this week. Not a ton,
Yeah,
but you know, Dune released. That's enough.
that is enough. I agree.
Okay. So that was this episode of Weekly Oscar Talk. Check us out next week. I don't know what's gonna happen next week. Not a ton of Oscar releases next week. Um, we'll see what we have for a retrospective review. And yeah, thank you for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, and check us out next week and every day of your life. Thank you.